Good morning, everyone. We are the 7th group from STEM 12E5, and now we are introducing you to our fermented product, bread. We will be making Pandesal, which is the national bread of the Philippines. Pandesal was influenced by the Portuguese when they first arrived in the Philippines. When the main diet of the Philippines was centered on rice, the colonizers wanted to create sacramental bread or the host to convert the locals. And during this period, to make bread, people used tuba as a leavening agent before yeast was available to most areas in the country. And now, we will now use yeast because it is more accessible than tuba.
Before we begin, we shall prepare our ingredients: flour, yeast, and salt. We have the following flavor enhancers: milk, granulated sugar, and eggs. For the tools that we need to use, the yeast is now flashed on the screen. Before we begin breaking the bread, we must dissolve yeast in warm milk. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and stir to combine. Let's add for 5 to 10 minutes until the yeast has activated and the mixture is foamy. Proofing is necessary because it is an essential part of bread making and other applications that rely on yeast. If yeasted dough isn't allowed to proof, the yeast can release carbon dioxide and the gluten won't stretch to hold the air bubbles. In a large bowl, whisk together the dry ingredients: all-purpose flour, bread flour, and salt. Set aside. Pour yeast mixture into the bowl and add remaining sugar, butter, and lightly whisked eggs. Knead the dough gradually and add the flour mixture until you achieve the right consistency. Some yeast can ferment sugars to alcohol and carbon dioxide in the absence of air, but require oxygen for growth. We already have our sugar, which produces ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, such as glucose and fructose.
Transfer the kneaded dough to a lightly oiled bowl, covered with plastic wrap, and let the dough rise at a room temperature for 1 hour until the dough has doubled in volume. Punch dough down and divide into your desired number of pandesal. Fermentation starts when yeast or lab or lactic acid bacteria is added to the flour and water, either as individual ingredients or pre-ferments. It continues through the early stage of baking where the yeast or lab is inactivated by heat. The fastest rate occurs during proofing and oven spring stages. When flour is mixed with the yeast mixture, enzymes break down the dough to starch, which the yeast and lactic acid bacteria, or the LAD, naturally presents can use to make acid and gases to leaven bread. The yeast that makes bread rise is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, also known as baker's yeast, and the sourness is due to various lactobacilli bacteria which produce lactic and acetic acid. This will be the equation of the metabolic reaction during fermentation.
Proofing is a step in the preparation of yeast bread and other baked goods where the dough is allowed to rest and rise a final time before baking. During this rest period, yeast ferments the dough and produces gases, thereby leavening the dough. Proofing can also refer to the process of testing the viability of dry yeast by suspending it in warm water with carbohydrates, sugars. If the yeast is still alive, it will feed on the sugar and produce a visible layer of foam on the surface of the water mixture. Preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, remove plastic wrap and bake for 20 to 25 minutes until fragrant and golden brown. Eat bread rolls warm at a room temperature. And that's the end of the video. The pandesal is soft and spongy due to the carbon dioxide produced during the fermentation of the yeast. We hope that you learned something new about the fermentation process as a result of our product. Thank you so much, and may God continue to bless you.